Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Community Access. This week, we visited with the Pollyant Trails Repair in Leonard. Then we chatted with Health Quest Therapy about the 24th construction. Then we have two great Q stories for you. One, the Upland Hills visit. And finally, Alexis takes paddleboard lessons at Stony Lake. All today in our Community Access. Welcome back. The Pollyant Trail had some major problems with Leonard. With the story is our reporter Alexis Ware and photographer Stephen Brower.
The Pollyant Trail in Leonard is getting a brand new trail after a year in the works, and they have residents and Cooper Standard to thank for that.
Cooper Standard came to us about a year ago and said, hey, the fence is kind of in disrepair. We'd like to kind of help get it fixed. So we said, fabulous, we've been wanting to replace it, but money's tight. So they gave us $300, which started it, and then we budgeted it this last year, actually. So we spent it, and it's been sitting over there because of quarantine. So we are installing it today. It's supposed to go in April, but here we are in June. So it's going to be fabulous. I wanted to get it done in time for the Strawberry Festival, but then the Strawberry Festival is canceled, so it's still going in. So we're just taking out the old and bringing in the new.
Alex Peterson, Continuous Improvement Specialist at Cooper Standard, says the company is always willing to lend a hand.
One of our main values, and I think the stuff that we try to abide by day to day, is being a great community partner. So we do a lot for the community, and we enjoy doing that and giving back as much as we can. So that's why we are out here today and have done a lot of things in the past and look forward to doing a lot in the future.
Other organizations came out in support as well.
You know, anytime you can help the community, so it's a good cause. And, you know, by nature, we like to support events and you know, as a ski patroller, you know, we're volunteering our time for the community.
Volunteers say that time was well spent.
We had to, so we got an auger down there, and we had to get each post, each hole kind of drilled out, and then go back and touch it up with one of these. And got maybe a quarter of the way done here so far on this side of the fence, so looking pretty good.
The hard part would be if we were using the post hole digger. This is just hold this and pour some of the sand in there. It's not that hard.
And that support doesn't go unnoticed by Pollyant Trail Manager Linda Moran.
We are all a volunteer organization, so we operate, I'm the only paid employee. I get paid 20 hours a week, and I work about 65 hours. So we need help mowing, trimming. We usually get our weekend alternative misdemeanor folks out here every other Sunday, but because of the pandemic, they've canceled that. So we have no volunteer force coming out. So it's just the community coming out and volunteering to help us out.
She says the help is appreciated right now more than ever, especially with the pandemic pushing back so many of their events.
We have a Boy Scout installation that was kind of postponed because of quarantine. They're out here today installing it. It's a top secret. So when anybody comes around and takes a look in the next few weeks, it's going to be fabulous. Everybody's going to be very impressed by it. We had a couple of culvert repairs and some different things that needed to be repaired that have kind of been delayed a bit. We had a pop bottle drive. We raised funds, so the projects are going to start going. Frosty Boy asphalt repair is going to be taking place the week after 4th of July. So Birmingham Seal Coat got the bid on that, so Birmingham Seal Coat's going to be out there working. So Ryan Austin is a great guy. And then what else do we have? We just have a lot of like little repairs that need to be done. You know, some culverts need to be cleaned, some parking lots that need to be resurfaced, just little things like that.
Moran says the Oxford Police Department was a major contributor to some financial stability during the pandemic.
Chief Mike put it out on his Facebook, and we kind of shared it around, and people just brought them and brought them and brought them and brought them and brought them, and it was just overwhelming. We were taking in sometimes $1,000, $1,500 a day in pop bottles. We were going to do it for about a month, and the response was so overwhelming that the police pole barn filled The upstairs was filled. The downstairs was filled. The photographs that we have are only a small part of what was there because we had them hidden in the upstairs. So yes, it was amazing. It was totally amazing. So yeah, so 26,000 approximately, final total. When I get the check from Powers, I'll be on Facebook holding it. And so that's going to help us with our culvert repair. That's going to help us with Frosty Boy, a few little projects we have. We're going to give a little present to the police to shop with a hero for Christmas. Allegedly, the council hasn't made a final decision on that, so that's up to them. But everybody's suffering this year, so we want to help too. We can help now,
She says there's still a little ways to go from the overall goal.
It helped us. We had 2 huge projects come up that were like $20,000 that we didn't have money to pay for. So it didn't put us so much further ahead, it just didn't put us behind. So we're still even. I still need 20 grand, but we're still even. So yeah. So that was really good. It saved our bacon, let me tell you.
The fence is nearly done, but Linda says there's still a lot more to do throughout the summer. Reporting in Leonard, Alexis Ware, Oxford Community Television.
Good job. Next up, Alexis visited with the Health Quest therapy during the 24th construction and the COVID-19. Again, it's Alexis.
The construction is probably affecting us about 25% is just my guess. Initially, I was pleasantly surprised. I said, we're doing okay with this initial construction phase because people would say, if it takes me an extra 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to do that because I want to come in to see you. They hold us in that regard, which is a blessing, makes my heart swell. It's really, really cool. Like, I use the example if my wife, the lady who does her hair moves from one city to another city, she's going to drive to that other city to see that person because of the quality, and she likes that person and she'll go there. We see that a lot with our current patients doing the same thing. They're willing to drive an extra 5 or 10 minutes or go through this construction or the detours we have to get through this, and they're getting here. So
Gar, co-owner of Health Quest Physical Therapy and Medical Fitness, says early M24 construction didn't hinder business in the beginning, but that's changing.
The biggest difference where I think it's affecting us a little bit more now over the last 2 weeks is because since they really closed down M24 south of Drainer, now it's just 1 lane each way through Lake Orion, that's held some more people back from coming to us. When it was 2 lanes south of Drainer, we were doing fairly well. Now that they squeezed that down and they're doing all that, now that's something I really didn't expect, but we're seeing a little bit of a reduction. So what do? Instead of seeing a patient 3 days a week, we'll say, okay, Charlie, we're going to see you 2 days a week, but now it's super important for you to do your home exercises because you have to do your stuff at home. Coming in here 2 or 3 days a week is good, but what are you doing on the other 3 to 4 to 5 days? You have to do your stuff at home to get better.
Like many health businesses this year, their company has remained open for people who needed their services.
Once we found out that we were needed, we were able to stay open. We had 1 day where we shut down, we just reorganized. We had a full staff meeting, full team meeting, and unfortunately we had to put some people off on furlough and they went on to unemployment. We did keep a small percentage of our people here working. We spread out our tables, we reduced the number of patients we were seeing, reduced the number of people we were seeing in the clinic, and primarily we were just seeing those people who had surgery a while ago, our post-operative cases, because they were the ones who most needed physical therapy at that time. So that lasted about 2 weeks, and then after about 2 weeks we started getting phone calls from some of our patients who would say, hey Dan, I know I didn't have surgery on my neck, but man, my neck is killing me, can I come in? And we said, sure Joe, you're welcome to come in. If you're safe coming in, we're safe having you. A lot of people were asking very important questions like, what are you doing? Are you wearing PPEs? Are you wearing masks? What are you doing? So I want to be sure. So I say, yeah, we're all wearing masks. We require all of our patients to wear masks. We're checking temperatures when they first come in. We're asking all the COVID questions. We've spread out our tables, and everything's going very, very well. We were cleared by OSHA. We were cleared by the Oakland County Sheriff, and we're doing pretty well with that regard. We also, at that time, we implemented telehealth. So I had more than a handful of patients I was seeing over the computer.
Staying open helped them stay afloat, but the pandemic still came with a cost.
We were down 70% and we're starting to ramp back up now, so we're still down a pretty large percent, and we got some help through the government like most businesses were able to do, so that's helped a little bit. We're going to get through this. 2020, we're getting kind of punched in the face with the COVID. Now we're punched in the face with construction, although we knew this construction was coming. It's a challenging year for everybody here, but if you see the end of it, I think the end of this, the result of this is going to be very, very good. I know we're going to get through this pandemic. I know we're going to see an end to this construction, and then Oxford's going to be a place for people to want to come back in and visit, shop, stay, eat.
Gar says a part of making Oxford that desirable place is being understanding throughout the process to get there.
We ask our patients, if you're going to be late, please call us. And sometimes, if someone is about 10 minutes after their appointment time and they're not here, we'll call them and say, hey Mark, is everything okay? We had you on for a 10 o'clock appointment, or oh yeah, I'm on my way, or sometimes they forget, and we're very able to reschedule their appointments to different times.
Construction is slowing down traffic both outside HealthQuest Physical Therapy and Fitness and in, but Gar says it's okay to call ahead and see how traffic is going.
Just letting them know when you're coming here, if you're coming from the north, it's a one-lane shot down M24, so please leave a little bit earlier. If you're coming from the south and coming north, the MDOT detour takes people, quite a ways around the building to the east. But there's also another detour we can have our few patients take if they go west. There's Glassby Side Street to the west where they can come out right by the Oxford Leader and get here in no time. And it's not a deterrent. It's not illegal. It's everything is good that they can go down that side street and get to us easier. We do have many more patients who come to us from the north and the northeast side of Oxford who come in, so they're getting here.
Gar says he wants residents to know that right now he is doing special offers.
We're also still promoting heavily our free consultations we do for patients. There's a number of people out there who are hurting or know somebody who's hurting, and they don't know what to do, who to see, how bad is my shoulder, how bad is my neck, my back, my leg pain. Well, what they can do is call us and schedule a free consultation appointment. And what that is about 15 or 20 minutes with a licensed physical therapist, and we do just a quick evaluation, and we get people out of that gray zone, this, not sure what to do, into a zone where, okay, now I know what's going on. Dan requested that I go see a specific doctor, and I can call the doctor, text the doctor, call the doctor's office, and do my best to get you in as quickly as possible so you're not waiting 2 months to see a doctor. It's nice to have some contacts like that. As if the doctor called me, we've had a couple of doctors that I know real well, they'll call me or text me, hey, I got a patient, just saw him today, I need this person in 48 hours. If it's a Saturday, a Sunday, a holiday, I make it happen. We come in and see them.
He's looking toward the future for business.
If we can rest on one specific thing, we always know in the year is in physical therapy, we always get busier from September through December. End of the year, people start thinking, okay, the kids are back to school, now moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas now can take care of those little aches and pains that they had all summer, but they had to watch kids. Now the kids are in school, if schools are open, and then they can come in and take care of what they have to get through. Also, at the end of the year, people's co-pays and deductibles are usually met, so then they go into having elective surgeries, whether it's a shoulder surgery, a knee scope, whatever they may need, and they need a little rehab after that. So our end of the year is always our busiest time of the year, and we're counting on that, just like I hope all the small businesses in Oxford are doing, because it's tough.
And the excitement includes fall sports.
We're really looking forward to a very successful full fall sports season at Oxford High School. We're very involved. We've been very involved, intimately involved with Oxford High School sports and the athletic trainers. I was over at the school today hanging out with the coaches of the football team. The cross-country team was running around there. So I get there about 1 day a week in the summer. And then when school's back in, I go to the training room every Monday afternoon to offer another set of eyes and hands to Andrew and Alyssa, the two athletic trainers, just in case they have an athlete who needs a little extra help or another set of eyes and ears and hands on them to see what's going on. So hopefully we look forward to a really successful fall sports season. We can get back to normal over there with that.
Now, if you want to bring some kids to visit with some animals, you must go to Upland Hills Farm. With the story again is Alexis and photographer Stephen Brower.
Upland Hills Farm Camp is still pulling their weight despite being closed at the beginning of the year. Farmer Andy says what would have typically took them 8 weeks took 2.
We were waiting and hesitant. We were doing little off and on projects with the animals, but probably 2 weeks before we opened is when we actually got the green light to go. So it was a lot of long days. We have like 5 or 6 sinks spread out throughout the whole farm, and every time a kid gets done with one activity, they have to wash their hands right away. We get from 5 to 12-year-olds, so it's really hard to tell a 5-year-old to wear a mask and have them understand, especially on really hot days. But the counselors and the directors and myself, the farmer, we always wear a mask whenever we're under a roof. We are riding horses, we're still doing chores, kids can milk a cow. A lot of the activities are still the same. We have waiting lists actually. It's kind of amazing how the community came together the second we were able to open up. People called us, they were ready. And we're still good, we still have a couple sessions available. The state guidelines currently are 250, so we're sticking with the 250. We do about 200 online, and then we give or take 50 people coming in without doing online pay. There's about 5 or 6 of us that are year-round, and we hired about 50 counselors for camp.
Is that less than typical?
That's actually a little more. We had to split up the groups into smaller groups so that way we can make sure all the kids are washing their hands and staying socially distant. We got all these like bleach buckets and little sprayers that after everyone leaves and after everyone washes everything, we go through and bleach everything out. We need to stay working as much as we can, and we had the little bit of extra funds from last year. So we were all working. We get our grain for most of the animals through a local brewery, homegrown brewery. They give us their grain, and luckily it helps us out in times like this when money's a little tight. We have like 200 and some odd acres for the campers and the counselors, so we're doing nature trails and we're going out and looking for stuff in the woods, and we have a disc golf course for the kids. There's a lake here that the kids go down to. We just try to spread out as much as possible. In October, during the week, we are open for school tours typically. Schools come to us, but on the weekend we call it our Harvest Festival, where we're open for cider and donuts and all that, every hoopla that you can imagine for the October festivities. We did our first one about 2 weeks ago, and it worked out pretty well. We did online tickets, like I said earlier, and that worked out great. Everyone had a list. We didn't require that they pay online. They had to wait until they got in and then they would pay, but it helped us keep track of how many people were coming in and who we can allow.
Is that something that's going on every week or every other week?
Right now we're doing it about once a month. We're doing that, and then we all have thermometers that we scan their foreheads and make sure no one has a fever. We have a list of questions we ask them to make sure no one's been out of state, and make sure everyone in the house is feeling well, no one's sick in the house. Our Facebook and our Instagram and our website, uplandhillsfarm.com, will have all of that stuff when we do decide that we're open. It's just every day there's something new going on, and we never know if we can actually do something until like the week prior. So when we know we can, we will. We'll do it on Facebook. We'll have a post that you can link to the website where you can reserve your ticket. It's typically from noon to 5. The sooner you get here, the better. We do hay rides still, but we go off a lot more than we normally do. We only do a couple families per wagon and kind of space them in different corners. We typically sell bottled water right now, and last time we did popcorn, but like hot dogs and nachos, stuff that we normally do, we're just to avoid everything and make it easier on everyone. We do birthday parties and stuff like that. If they call the office and talk to Christy, she'll help you guys set up. We do have like local vendors that know all about the farm, and they know how to deliver food here, and it just makes it a lot easier.
And we're still doing that right now?
Yep, we're still doing that. That's part of the 250 that can come. So once we know how many people are coming for the birthday party, we can plan accordingly for the rest of the guests and customers. we're trying to make sure, since we're outdoors, a lot of camps that are indoors have really difficult times, but kids still need their vitamin D, they still need social interaction with other kids, and being able to be outdoors keeps them together but not having them be super close together at a safe distance. And it's just great. Kids can run around still. I mean, on these hot days we make sure every half hour or so they get their water and they do everything they can. We go to the lake in the afternoons, which is really good because by the time noon comes they're hot and they're ready.
Upland Hills Farm still has tons of activities throughout the summer. To sign up, visit their site at uplandhillsfarm.com. Reporting in Oxford, Alexis Ware, Oxford Community Television.
Much fun. Next up, Alexis wanted to take a paddleboard lesson at Stony Lake. Here's Alexis again, our photographer Stephen Brower.
Public pools may still be closed for the summer, but the lakes are wide open. Parks and Recreation has a new summer program in partnership with Game On Paddleboarding, specifically designed to teach residents how to play on the water safely.
These classes are offered for everybody, for the first timer and for people that do have some experience with paddling and kayaking. You want to make sure that you are comfortable ahead of time, so bringing your own personal flotation device is helpful, but we do also supply life jackets for those that would like to use them.
Owner and operator of Game On Paddleboarding says the sport is safe regardless of skill level.
Paddleboarding is a lot easier than a lot of people think. Many of our customers have come out, have been fearful initially, but once they get a little bit of proper instruction, they found paddleboarding to be extremely easy. Well, maybe not extremely, but easier, and then also very, very gratifying at the end of the day. We've had a lot of repeat customers, and also a lot of kayakers that have come out, have tried paddleboarding, also seem to really enjoy it. If you did fall in the water, however, you are connected to the board. That way you don't end up too far away from it.
He says not only is it safe, it has a lot of added benefits.
Paddleboarding in other parts of the country is used in many different capacities with different groups. For instance, soldiers returning from overseas that happen to have PTSD, there are paddleboarding classes to get them out in the water, which seems to have a very positive effect on that condition. In addition, there's just getting on the water, I believe, has a lot of positive benefits. You become a lot calmer. You can use paddleboarding for some meditation purposes. You're typically around nature. Like right now I have fish that are nibbling on my toes, but you have the birds, you have the sun, the clouds. There's just a lot of elements that are really helpful from a mental standpoint, I believe.
Some of those benefits also include fitness.
The paddleboard itself, you don't need to stand. You can sit on it just like I am with your feet hanging in the water. It can be very casual. You can sit on it and paddle around. You can make it as relaxing as you want to or as aggressive as you want to. Just from standing on the paddleboard, you do work all the small muscles in your toes and your feet. So you're getting a workout without having to work out. It's a very relaxing workout, if there is such a thing. And again, just not only the physical standpoint, but also the mental relaxation, the mental workout that you get, I think is extremely balancing in that regard. So highly recommend anyone, even if you are fearful of the water or even if you can't swim, come on out and we can teach you and make you more confident on a paddleboard or on a kayak.
Classes and rentals are offered through Oxford Parks and Recreation and also through Game On Paddleboarding.
You can be out here all day if you'd like to. We offer hourly rental and also day rental. It's $20 for 1 hour, $35 for 2 hours, $40 for 3 hours, and then $80 for all day.
Can you book like a whole summer or a whole week of it? How would people go about that?
You can. A lot of the reservations that we have are made ahead of time. So if you know you want to go down to the beach, you just plan accordingly. You can text us or call us, and then we can make a reservation for you.
Residents have plenty of time to participate.
We will be hopefully paddling until it snows. So we'll be here as often as people would like. Most of our reservations are by appointment. So if customers are interested, they would call or text our number, and then we would meet them here at Stony Lake. We'll be here as often as we can.
And then it was time to demonstrate.
In our 101 class, our introductory to paddleboarding class, we talk about the proper stance, proper paddling technique. We talk about getting back on the paddleboard if you do happen to fall off. We also talk about how to turn a little bit more. So what I like to do personally is I like to take each individual, because everyone's at a different level as far as what their abilities are, and then I try to help them just a little bit as much as they want to be helped as far as their paddling skills. We do a lot of relaxation on the paddleboard because a full hour and a half of just paddling is a little bit tough sometimes for newer paddlers. So we do relax. We get to sit down and enjoy this warm, beautiful lake here in Oxford.
Okay.
And then you want to have 1 foot on one side and 1 foot on the other. So kind of turn yourself 90 degrees so you're facing the front of the board. Yep. 1 foot on one side of the handle, 1 foot on the other. A little bit more. Keep on turning so your feet are parallel or perpendicular to the board. Yep, a little bit more. Yep, and then bring your right foot forward. Yep, there you go. So then as far as paddling goes, one hand's going to be on top of the paddle, one hand's going to be down below. So one hand way up here, kind of grasping it. Yep, other hand's going to be down below, and then so you want to rotate this so it's flexed forward. So you want the tip of the paddle to be facing forward, just like that. When the paddle goes in the water, it's going to enter the water way in front. And see how the paddle is vertical right here? It's not sideways. Have as vertical as possible, and then we're going to be pressing down. And like the wider that your seat is, like the more balance you're going to have on it. Yeah, so just kind of wobble back and forth, make sure that you're kind of comfortable there, and we'll get you a life jacket to put on for when you stand up. Yeah, please. Personal flotation devices are a little bit different. This one has 3 clips that you want to make sure are clipped together. Make sure they go around the whole back. Then once they are clipped together, you want to pull on the straps to make sure it's nice and snug. Cool. And that'll hopefully keep you afloat if you were to fall in. But with a paddleboard, you don't need a life jacket on, just because this paddleboard will float. So as long as you're connected with the leash, if you did fall off, you just hang on to it and that'll keep you afloat as well. But for the extra security, it's good to have a life jacket. So we'll have you hop back on there, ankle strap back on. So if you were to fall off a paddleboard, the best way to get back on is going to be from the very back of the paddleboard at a 45-degree angle. So when you're down in the water, you want to throw an arm over and then put a knee up. You'll be on the back of the board pressing down, and then climb back then to the middle part of the board. That's where the most stable point is. So there is no graceful way of doing it. You might feel like a seal or a beached whale getting back up on it, but that's totally okay. Just make sure to crawl back to the middle, get your stability, get your paddle, catch your breath, and then you work on standing back up. Good job. And once you get to shore, you just want to kind of hop off before the fin gets to the beach, before the fin starts scraping, and then that way you can kind of pull it up by the back of the board. So take the ankle strap off, and then you can grab this handle right here and then kind of walk it up to shore. Always making sure that the board is upside down on the beach, that way it's fin up, so you're not going to break your fin. If you were to stand on the board when the fin is on the ground, it might snap.
Residents can make reservations right now for paddleboarding and kayaking classes by going to oxparkrec.org, or you can also get rentals by going to GameOnPaddleboarding.com. Reporting in Oxford, Alexis Ware, Oxford Community Television.
Looks kind of like that might be fun. Well, that's all the time for this week. So, for our reporter Alexis Ware and photographer Stephen Brower and our production manager and editor Terry Stiles, I'm Bill Service, and we hope to see you again on our Community Access.